Hello, and welcome to Big Banks is Burning, brought to you by Alex Willingham and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'm Big Banks Barfield.
I'm Jeffro Latham here again.
This week we'll be looking at the Week 1 matchups and forward to this Week 2. To start off, our commissioner would like to apologize for the week mishap about the schedule. For some reason, Morgan Livesey and Lee Thompson wanted to take a break every week to go play with each other's Wankies. We couldn't have that, so the commissioner reset the schedules and got us started.
Things do not always go as planned. Ask the replacement refs.
Wow. All right, in our first matchup of this past week, we had the Sandusky Sodomizers beat the $5 Footlongs, 122 to 77.2. $5 Footlongs got a little more than 12 inches.
Yeah, they just didn't perform. 77.2 points total. That's not going to work in this league. I was very disappointed in some of the key players Mr. Burton has, especially Eli Manning did not come out to play his A game to start off the NFL season last Wednesday. Also,
that's why he's playing the Delta Chi Classic, not the Sigma Nu Classic. Yeah.
Also, Bernard Turner is quickly looking like he's not going to have much gas this season. That did not help out, but he's lucky he had a good performance from his kicker at least. Good job, Matt Bryant, with 17 points. I just don't know. Sean had a strong team, though. That's why I feel like, you know, with the loss even, Drew Brees stepped up and made some plays, along with Darren McFadden, and Cody Fleener definitely hooked up with Andrew Luck's 45 attempts, and, you know, he got a couple more points on the board, but definitely need to step it up, $5 Footlong.
You know, it's early in the year, but Sandusky Sodomizers look like an early favorite. They're coming out looking pretty strong.
They're looking very strong. 122 is a solid score.
It is. For our next matchup was Fear the Beard against the professional chicken chokers, Morgan Livesey. Fear the Beard won 121.7 to 119.2 in an epic comeback. I mean, Chad just got some really good help on late night on Monday.
This was a very, very close game, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought Fear the Beard was going to come out and just crush Headley, or crush Morgan, but this was definitely a close game. I'd like to mainly thank Peyton Manning for this even being close, because he came out and he proved to the world, yes, Peyton Manning is back. Also, you know, Arian Foster and Stephen Ridley were pretty much the main factors that even kept Morgan close, so he needs to definitely analyze that and keep those two guys in. But it was definitely a good first season, you know, first game matchup.
Definitely. All I was just wondering is the bird really the word, Mr. Livesey? Is it? Our third matchup of this week was Team Headley, JP, still not creative enough to come up with a team name, against Brandon Corbett, free Anthony rookie. Well, Brando took this game 100.2 to 99.8, our closest game of the week. What did you see in this game?
This was a very tight race all the way to the finish. Nobody even pulled ahead throughout the whole weekend, but I'll tell you what, Brando got very lucky with some busts such as DeAngelo Williams. DeAngelo, your offense has to have more than 10 yards for a whole game. That's not going to work in this type of league. Good thing Kevin Smith bailed you out there in Brando's team. But JP, Matt Stafford will only get better, so have some patience with that. I feel the same about Wes Walker, and keep Julio in. And you're looking at some wins this season, but be patient.
How do you think Brandon Corbett's experience helped him with this game?
I think it was just plumb luck. I think Brando was probably sleeping during this game, honestly. We all know how he likes to get sick and take naps.
Well, it looks like Brando got lucky, and JP just had 30 less cents in his bank account than he thought.
Agreed.
Brando, you got lucky this week and took it to the bank. Don't count on it next week. Our fourth matchup of the week was the Naked Streetwalkers by Wesley Roundtree against the Honky Tonk Badonka Gronk of Jake Bulmer. Well, Jake Bulmer spotted Wesley pretty good. Beat him 121 to 96.3.
This was definitely a big surprise for me, because I know that Wesley has a lot of history of being an offensive powerhouse in this league, and you look at last year, he was scoring a 130 to 150 almost every week. Starting out at 96.3, that's not going to cut it, Wes. And I know you didn't really anticipate Chris Johnson only getting a couple points, but, I mean, look at last year. This shouldn't be a surprise. Matt Ryan, what can you say? He went off. Better luck to whoever plays against Jake next week.
I think Wesley Roundtree left his bail bonds money in his pants this week. Ridiculous.
If he was wearing the pants.
All right, week 5, we go to the one-pump chump, Justin Woods himself, against Ray Finkel-Winkle. So let me tell you what, one-pump chump couldn't even get his first pump off because Ray Finkel's-Winkle got 101 points to one-pump chump's 85 points.
Tell you what, one-pump chump looked just about as good as Cam Newton did pumping the ball, and that's why his starting quarterback, Cam Newton, did not develop and play this week like expected. But you look on the other side of the ball, Tom Brady, Mr. Reliable. He got the job done, and that's why Leland ended up with the win this week. Very happy about that.
Who knows? By the time the one-pump chumps get their first pump, I might have a full beard.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that, thanks.
And in our last game of the week, we had the annexation of Puerto Rico, cool name, Chip, against Team Koffler, even cooler one. In a game, Team Koffler barely won 109 to 108.3. How do you think, Jeffro, that these two lame-named teams fought so hard and should give us a good one?
Yeah, this is the second closest game of the week, and I'll tell you what, I called Coach Koffler up, and he was biting his nails Sunday night when he was down in Tampa for the game, watching that Pittsburgh game, because if you look at the matchup on these two teams, the last two players that were on each of these teams were Mike Wallace on Chip's team and Antonio Brown on Coach Steve's team. When you're that close in your final score, you need big plays, and Coach Koffler barely pulled this one out. He definitely needs to make some adjustments for next week.
Tell you what, Chip, you try to pull out the annexation of Puerto Rico to try and beat Koffler, well, you guess what? Big Banks came in and bounced your check, and you fell a bit short, didn't you? Get a better team name, son. It's piss poor.
That goes for you too, Coach Koffler.
You know, and with the talk of team names, I'd kind of like to go off the script a little bit. I'd like to break down, what do you think the best team names thus far is?
I mean, there's a lot of good ones, and there's a lot of in-depth meaning. I like, Jake, creative, good. I'm not totally in favor of the basing your team name around one player theory, but, again, very creative. I'd also like to acknowledge Naked Streetwalkers, just because, Wes, that's what you do. Why wouldn't your team be called that? So I'm going with those two. Those are pretty good names. Sandusky Sodomizers, you can't go wrong with it, but, there's some good ones out there, and I'm expecting, Team Koffler and Team Headley to hopefully have been using this time to develop good names. We'll see next week, though, or else we'll tear them a new asshole.
Not good enough. On this next segment of the show, we're going to give out our Choke the Chicken Award. Goes to the team that lost pretty much by the most and choked the chicken. You know what I mean?
That goes to Cody Burton.
Oh my Lord, losing by 44 points.
72 points in a week. Like, did you not play a quarterback, a receiver, and a running back? You're not going to beat anybody with 77 points.
You're the defending champion, and you're going to come out like this?
You can't take weeks off in this league. You can't.
Can I have this $20? Is that okay? Where's the commission at? Jeez. We will leave here, and we're going to break down the top 3 breakout players of this week. Some of these guys aren't picked up off the waivers. Maybe you'd like to go get one. Cody. Sorry. Or JP. So let's start off with the champs of week 1. 3 of the best performers that came out of nowhere, either played to where expected or elevated their level. What's the first one?
First one is Jake Ballmer's quarterback, Matt Ryan. Great game this week. Definitely put the points on the board with 299 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 25 rush touchdowns, and he had a nice rushing touchdown to that as well to pull out 45.5 points.
Yes, you are. All right, our next breakout performer was running back C.J. Spiller of the Buffalo Bills. He's currently on the Sandusky Sodomizers. Now, Coach Early benched C.J. this week, which I think was understandable because Fred Jackson. But Fred Jackson did get hurt, so I'm looking for Coach Early to play C.J. Spiller a lot the next 2 to 3 weeks. Great
That'll definitely help out. And then Coach Early will be... Next one we're going to go with is in the receiver category. JP, you lucked out by having one of these top ones. Mr. Julio Jones. You're throwing up 108 in reception yards and 2 touchdowns on top of that. 24.8 points. That'll work.
Now, JP, great pickup, but here's the bad side. We're going to go to the chumps of this week. And starting off, we're going to go with you and wide receiver chump, Wes Welker. Wes Welker only had 14 receiving yards. That's 1.4 points. You take that, you add it with Julio Jones, and you just have 2 mediocre wide receivers. You elevate one of your wide receivers, and you're looking good. But there's a reason you didn't score many points, and you couldn't come up with a victory. You need to hit the panic button.
Alright, the running back chump we have is Michael out of gas Turner Burner. Cody Burton's team this week, he only added 32 rushing yards, which came to 3.2 points. That is not going to work in this league. You definitely have 2 running backs for a reason. Let's make use of both of them.
For our last chump is none other quarterback than Cam Newton. Cam Newton had a hard time down in Tampa. Now, his team couldn't really run the ball, so it was kind of all up on him. But Cam Newton had 303 yards. He did have a passing TD, but he threw 2 interceptions with only 4 rushing yards. This is not what you come to expect out of your quarterback, Justin. You know, the funny thing is he started Cam Newton. He had Mark Sanchez, 34 points, and RG3, 35 points on his bench. Sorry, Justin.